Hello everyone, and welcome to Wonders Weird and Wild. Today's topic will be the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. As always, if you have any suggestions for future topics on videos, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to get around to making that. And without any further ado, let's get on with today's topic. So, during the early 1900s, Austria-Hungary was a large empire that spanned a ton of territory throughout Europe. At its head, we find Archduke Karl Ludwig of Austria, and his son, the presumptive heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, being Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Now, Archduke Franz Ferdinand had several achievements in his younger life. He was a successful member of the Austro-Hungarian military. He was a successful trophy hunter, but unfortunately, he is best known for his assassination. As I mentioned before, in the early 1900s, especially the 1910s, Austria-Hungary had a great deal of control over the surrounding regions in Europe. One region that was kind of the butt of this situation was Serbia. Now, Serbia, mainly Serbian nationalists, wanted a greater Serbia, a larger, expanded Serbian empire that spanned throughout Europe. And the Austro-Hungarian rule, the oppressive larger neighbor that was next door, was impeding that effort to a great degree. Especially Archduke Franz Ferdinand, with his ideas for eventual reforms of Austria-Hungary to improve their military and to create greater autonomy for Slavic regions. It was not ideal for some of the Serbian nationalist ideas for a greater Serbia. So a Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand decided to take action against this and decided that they wanted to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand. They found their opportunity to do this on June 28, 1914, when the governor of Bosnia and Herzegovina, General Oskar Potiorek, invited Franz Ferdinand for a military inspection. At the time, Bosnia and Herzegovina was a territory of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and in an effort to increase confidence of the empire in their military capacity, Governor Oskar Potiorek invited Franz Ferdinand to inspect their military. So from here, the Black Hand made their plan. They would send several members to Bosnia and Herzegovina to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand using a bomb thrown at his car. The main players taking action in this plot were members of the Black Hand named Nedeljko Brinovic and Gavrila Princip. So, early in the morning, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie arrived in Bosnia and Herzegovina for this inspection, where they entered into a 6-car motorcade. From here, they drove down Apple Quay, and at 10:10 a.m., Nedeljko Brinovic took action in assassinating Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He threw the bomb at the car. Unfortunately for him, it missed. It bounced off the trunk of the car and landed underneath the car behind Archduke Franz Ferdinand in the motorcade, causing that car to explode. Instead of scrapping the visit, Archduke Franz Ferdinand continued forward and made it all the way to the Sarajevo town hall, Sarajevo being the town that they were visiting, to inspect the military. Remembering the previous attack, however, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie decided that they were going to visit the local hospital to see the victims of the previous bombing. This is the route that they should have taken. Instead, their driver accident took a wrong right turn. Upon realizing this, he stopped the car so that they could turn around and head back the correct route. Out of sheer luck on his part, Gavrila Princip was positioned at this point where he shot both Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie. They died by 11:30 a.m. Because of this, because the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne had been murdered, and Austria-Hungary saw Serbia as being to blame, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Now, the problem with this is that in Europe at the time, there had been a giant net of military alliances formed. The kind of alliance where one country agrees with another that if they go to war with another nation, the nation that they're allied with will back them up in that war, and vice versa. The thing is, when you get a ton of nations that have made alliances like this, and even one of them goes to war, it creates a giant cascading effect that causes all of them to go to war. And this is exactly what happened in Europe at the time. So, when Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, what then happened was Germany declared war on Russia, Germany declared war on France, Germany declared war on Belgium, the UK declared war on Germany, Austria-Hungary declared war on Russia, France declared war on Austria-Hungary, the UK declared war on Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire declared war on Russia, and the UK declared war on the Ottoman Empire. Also, France declared war on the Ottoman Empire. Understand? Exactly. Nobody does. Nobody did at the time either. It was just an incredibly widespread war that nobody had ever seen before. But what is important to remember is that this group was at war with this group. This was the dawn of what would be the greatest war ever to have been seen by the world to this time, known as the Great War at the time, or World War I. Thank you all for listening. As always, if you have any topics that you would like me to record a video about, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to get around to those. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.